What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Breakfast Club Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Andy. David, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Yeah, I had a great week last time out, so for once I'm actually looking forward to a game week, which is quite rare for me this season. So bring it on.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Plenty to kind of talk about today. Obviously, we're going to go for our teams and stuff, but there's Liverpool to talk about. Usually we wouldn't necessarily talk about the next game week too much, but given that it's midweek, we're going to talk about third Liverpool players because neither of us have our third Liverpool player yet, but we will do soon. And then look at Richarlison replacements, Rashford replacements, maybe do a bit of Q&A. So plenty to talk about. So we'll jump straight into it and look at your team first, I think. So what transfers have you made so far?
Yeah, so I made my transfer really early for my standards this week to beat the price rise, which is not a policy I usually go by. But as we've got, this Liverpool triple up that we're going to need to be invested in coming up very soon, now was the time to move early, I felt, to avoid some price rises and successfully managed to. I got McCarthy in, I think, Tuesday night, the Southampton goalkeeper. He's gone up to 4.4. Had I waited until Friday, then I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do my double game week 24 move. So, yeah, I've had Pope for, I think, nearly the whole season. I think he must be one of the ones I'd have from game week 1. So he's gone. But Burnley's defence has just dropped off a cliff in the last few weeks, and which kind of influenced my captaincy as well. He just wasn't making the saves either. So even when they weren't keeping clean sheets, he just wasn't really getting to the shots he was facing. But Southampton, we did a members article this week on site that proved quite popular. Some like mind-blowing numbers from the Southampton defence that when you consider they were so bad when they lost to Leicester 9-0 back in October. In the last 4 game weeks, they're in the top 3 or for fewest shots conceded in the box, fewest big chances conceded, best XGC. And that's from a period when they played Chelsea, Spurs and Leicester. That's just absolutely mad. So if they can keep clean sheets against or do very well, restrict those teams, with the fixtures they've got coming up, I quite like the look of McCarthy, who from some of the underlying numbers looks like he can get a lot of bonus from some passes, and he saved 13 of his 15 shots on target faced in the last 4 as well. So clean sheet saves for a budget price. I thought I've got to get him now, and he rotates quite nicely with Henderson as well. So Sheffield United and Southampton's fixtures complement each other very nicely for the next 3 weeks. So it was an easy one really. And I've seen a lot of people making it this week, this particular move. But what's really nice is he's still only owned by about 2.5%. So I think, this is the start of the stage of the season where a lot of us in the community go one way and the rest of the world doesn't. And then that's when we can really start getting some green arrows. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with having made that move. I was going to start Richarlison. I felt he was on for a big haul against West Ham, but of course the injury is a bit frustrating. But I'm not going to sell him because Ancelotti seems to suggest that it's quite a minor one, so I figured I'd just bench him. I'd already made the McCarthy move, and I didn't want to take a hit.
It's quite nice as well for you guys that have got Cantwell, because I'd say a lot of people, he's their bench player, but they really want to play him this week. So anyone that's got Richarlison as well is kind of, I think that's kind of nice in a way, especially if he makes game week 24, looking pretty good.
Yeah. It was frustrating, but I was like, yeah, it completely removed that benching headache. Richarlison was definitely going to play for me. And I was torn between Cantwell and Sarr, and I really wanted to start both, but obviously couldn't. And now I can. So, yeah, quite nice. Cantwell has punished too many of us from the bench recently, so it'd be nice for him to go into the team for this. He gets 10 points in both of his last 2 starts at home, and Bournemouth's defence looks terrible. So, if anyone's kind of this week, then, yeah, this is one of the weeks to do it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've actually made the same move, so I'll just bring my team up quickly. So I bought in Fabianski last week like an idiot. Double game week fever hit me, and then
it made sense at the time.
Ish, yeah. I mean, I already knew it was a short-term move, so I actually had my eye on potentially bringing McCarthy in later on anyway. I thought I could have Fabianski for kind of the good fixtures that they had, and then get McCarthy after the double game or after Brighton at home. Obviously, he got injured, so that screwed up. So I made the McCarthy move. I think I may have made it on Tuesday or Wednesday. I made it early as well. I figured that it'd be super unlucky for him to get an injury in training or whatever this week. So I just went for it. And then obviously Man United played Wolves. I had Rashford, I had Traore. It seems like Traore's going to be fine, to be honest. But Rashford, I don't know. I actually think, for anyone that's worried, I actually think Rashford's probably going to play. I think if there's any chance that Solskjaer can play him, then he absolutely will. So, but I've still got rid of him because I had a way to get my third Liverpool defender by doing Traore to Fleck, and then getting Robertson in for Rico. But I'm in an iron anyway about taking Rashford out. So him having a bit of a knock, potentially missing out. And even if he doesn't miss out this week, will he 100% play against Burnley? Not so sure. Just because
I think play 60 minutes against Liverpool and then have to come off or get injured again, and then it's a real risk, isn't it? So I totally get selling him.
Yeah, and I think after that the fixtures are pretty good, but they're not kind of out of this world. So I made the choice to get rid of him. I bought in Mopé, which I'm going to bring up the members area in a sec for attackers and show you why you probably shouldn't bring in Mopé, because he's actually been pretty bad in terms of kind of shot volumes and shots inside the box. He's actually the lowest on the list I've got. But he's playing Aston Villa, who like to concede shots. Then he's playing Bournemouth, who are like the second worst over recent weeks as well. So I'm going for the fixtures instead of the form and hoping it can pay off. And it gives me a lot of money in the bank then to play around. Like next week I have options. We'll talk about who or which Liverpool player you've decided on. But I'm still undecided, so I could get Robertson in easily now. I could even get Salah in for Maddison in one transfer basically now. So I've got options. I've got like 5.5 million in the bank. So otherwise, team-wise, I'm pretty okay with it. I'm playing Lundstram this week. If I had a better defender, I probably would bench him. Traore I'm not happy about, but again, I've got money now. If I go the Robertson route, I've got like 8.4 million to upgrade Traore. So I've got options next week. But Rashford's gone. I know he can punish me next week, but the only thing I would say as well, another kind of part of my thinking, obviously it's double game week next week, so I'm not going to captain Rashford. So maybe it minimises the blow a little bit. And obviously if he does get limited minutes, then obviously it's not so much of a killer. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm kind of still undecided over third Liverpool player. You've made your mind up, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to go with Firmino, just simply because he looks like a really exciting opportunity that I think a lot of people will overlook. And they'll overlook him for good reason. So I'm not sort of suggesting that the crowd is stupid for doing that, because a lot of people will quite rightly look at the ownership of Mane and Salah and think, well, I've got to have one of the, I've got to have probably both of those, and I'm probably going to have to captain one of them. I may even have to triple captain them as well. But as we saw this week with the articles that we did, and been mentioned on a few videos as well, Firmino's numbers over the last four away matches specifically, but not just the away matches, the home matches too. He looks very due a goal and is looking arguably, I would suggest, more likely to score than Salah and Mane. So, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a risk for me because I don't have Mane. So what it will mean is I'm going to go in with Salah and Firmino. It is risky going without Mane, but at the same time, I do kind of feel like all three of the attackers are kind of, I think they're primed to do well. So in a way, maybe I'm protected by as long as I've still got three. And then I'm thinking that I may captain Firmino to make up for the fact that I don't have Mane at all. So I'll just go through some of those numbers for Firmino away from home, because if you want to use it as a short-term move, then I think it's a fantastic way to go. So last four away matches, shots in the box out of Firmino, Mane, and Salah. Out of those three, Firmino's top with 13. Again, out of the same three players, big chances. He's had 6, Mane's had 4, Salah's had 2. And then shots on target, he's had 7, Mane on 6, Salah on 5. So for those three key goal threat statistics, he's ahead of them all of them. Accuracy, top 43.8%. Goal conversion, 25%. Like the business. And Wolves' defence usually concedes, even if it's not going to give up too many chances. West Ham's defence should give up loads of chances. So I can see Firmino doing well in both of those games. Some people have said maybe it's a bit too short term because, fine, the double game week is 2 away games, but what about the run of games after that? Are you going to need Mane instead? I still think Firmino can do well in that run as well, because if we look at his stats last 4, regardless of venue, he's still in a strong position. So this is now last 4 matches rather than last 4 away. Shots inside the box, Firmino still top, 13, Mane 11, Salah 9. Big chances, 5, which is the same as Mane. And shots on target, he's had 5, which is actually 1 less than Mane. But even still, for the price that he's at, he, on these goal threat numbers, is matching Salah and Mane. So I think that he's as likely to score. Yes, fine, he's going to get less points for his goals, and he won't get the clean sheets. But I can only see that really costing him two 2 points really in terms of the clean sheet, and maybe 1 or 2 in terms of the goals compared to the other two. And the best thing about doing it is it means that I don't have to sell De Bruyne, because a lot of people are going to be having to move De Bruyne on to get Salah and Mane in their squad. Some people have found a way of getting all three, and hats off to those people. Well done. But for me, I kind of like the idea of holding on to De Bruyne. I know that maybe he could get rotated, but I've kind of gone so long without De Bruyne. I think I've got to stick with him now, and kind of use him to protect me against some rank falls. So yeah, that's how I'm going to go. I've got to time when I do the transfer just right, because he is now 9-4, and it's going to be Abraham to Firmino, and that's basically if Firmino goes up again before the next deadline, I can't do it. So I'm going to have to time it just right. But yeah, I'm pretty confident on it because of the numbers. The numbers look really good. So it's brave, but I think calculated at the same time.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to get away with an early transfer anyway, because the game's so quick. If it was next Saturday and you couldn't if the price rise was going to affect you, that would be harsh. But yeah, I actually I bought up. Where is it? Rashford replacements. I bought up this. I mean, this is basically forwards. Stats. This is just last 4 matches. It's not split away, but you can see how high up Firmino is up there. 13 shots in the box, 2.28 expected goals as well from open play. So he is good. I didn't go the Rashford Firmino route. That would have probably been the easiest. But longer term, I'm just not sure he's the one I want. I know what you're saying. Like he can score points as well. I'm actually thinking of just going double defense though, because I think longer term that's the player I want. It gives me more money to put in my attack. And obviously they've been so good for clean sheets recently. I'm not actually sure how confident I am with 2 clean sheets over the double, especially with the Wolves game. But yeah, given attacking returns and stuff, I'm probably going to go Robertson. But Salah is so tempting. Obviously you said you not got Mane, but I don't know if it's grass is always greener. But it's just
we haven't had... if I had Mane and Firmino.
What's that? What did you say? Sorry.
I said I'd feel more confident if I had. I'd feel more confident if I had Mane and Firmino rather than Salah and Firmino. But like you say, I think the grass is always greener.
Yeah, for sure. Like I actually said on Twitter yesterday, I've got absolutely no issues captaining Mane. Obviously, you don't need to sit here and tell you that Mane's a great option. But if I bring in Salah, it would be pretty hard not to switch. But yeah, I think Rashford to Firmino, maybe that was the play. But I've got more pay now, so hopefully he can shoot. But as I said, if you look at this. What I've got on screen right now. So this is kind of all forwards, but I think I've mostly picked ones that aren't injured. And more pay. Only 2 shots in the box the last 4 weeks. So this is a massive fixtures play, which could go wrong. Calvert-Lewin I looked at. Richarlison's out. I don't know if that's going to affect things too much. It's only this week as well. I mean, he's shooting a hell of a lot. So he could have been an option too. And Deeney, I'm just not sure about Watford's fixtures going forward. So I was never really going to pick him. What about Richarlison? If you were going to replace Richarlison this week, is there anyone that you would have kind of gone for if you were replacing him?
Yeah, so I mean, well, we actually had to, because we were going to put him in the scout picks. So the editorial team had to replace him. Not that that's as big a deal as if you've got him on your team, because we'd had to sell him. We just had to pick someone else. And we went for Maddison. I mean, we were kind of just focusing mainly on the fixture for this week, which is a good one. Burnley, not only is their defence looking terrible, they've been pretty susceptible to set pieces as well. So they're inside the bottom 3 for shots conceded from set plays. So, yeah, that's why we've gone for Maddison on that one. In terms of long term, I mean, I don't know. It's tricky. I mean, maybe Martial might be a better long term sort of option, because he's going to be playing up front. And then, of course, he's got Burnley next time, as well as, obviously he's got a tough one this one. So, yeah, I think at this sort of stage, it sort of depends on what you're doing. Richarlison injury might actually help you get to a Salah and a Mane in the same team if you downgraded him to someone else.
What do you think?
Personally, I'd probably go Maddison, but I wouldn't be like really happy about it. I'd be kind of gutted.
Yeah, I've got Maddison. I think he's fine.
Just because I like Richarlison.
Yeah, I've got Maddison. I think he'll be fine for kind of next 2 fixtures, but after that, again, Leicester's fixtures for the 3 after are not looking great. And I don't know, he's been fine. He's been consistent all season, ticking over, but he's not like an exciting player to own. I mean, looking at the kind of list of midfielders I got up on screen, shots inside the box, Mahrez is top, just ahead of Martial. This is again over the last 4 fixtures. So what do you think about Mahrez? Obviously, a lot of love for him after last week, given how well he did. Obviously, maybe a little bit of rotation concerns, but he has played a lot of games recently.
Yeah, I think he started 5 of the last 6 or something like that. So he certainly is a lot. I mean, he's the kind of player that I probably would avoid because I'm a bit like Joe. I'm a bit of a dullard. But anyone who does go for him, I think, is going to really enjoy owning him when he starts because, yeah, he's just looked ridiculous. I mean, and the thing is, he arguably, if he was going to start every game, I think he's a better option than De Bruyne, not just because of price, but just looking at some of his numbers over the last 4 matches. Him and De Bruyne have created the same number of big chances, so and that's 3, second best in the league, behind only Alexander-Arnold and I think Perez. So he's up there, and obviously their chances created. It kind of counts for more, doesn't it? Because we know that the people on the end of these chances are more likely to score. So he's as creative as De Bruyne, but he's much more likely to score because he's playing a more advanced position. He's had 9 shots in the box in the last 4, and De Bruyne has had just 2. But I would still say that De Bruyne is at this stage the more likely to start every game because I think that there's less options for in his position. And when Mahrez doesn't play, they don't miss him as much as they miss De Bruyne. Sterling, for example, he's not been benched 2 games in a row when he's been fit since October 2017. So he's going to have to come back in. Who's he going to come back in for? It could be Jesus. Seems kind of the most likely, but it could also be Mahrez. So I think anyone who's going for him, it's not completely crazy because he's looked great, but I'm too I'm too much of a dullard to touch him for now. De Bruyne for me feels like a safer bet.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think most people probably going De Bruyne and Mahrez, but we'll see what happens there if that works out and how much if he gets rotated at all. Should just say team sheets are in. So I haven't got them from the screen. Have you got them up there?
Yeah, I've got them both. So it's Watford against Spurs, and it largely looks like good news for fantasy managers all round. I'll start with the Watford in goal. Messina, Dawson, and Mariappa is the back 4. So Mariappa still filling in at right back. We've got Capu and Shalabat as the holding midfielders. Deulofeu, Decore, Sarr as the attacking midfield 3, and Dini up front. So it's 4-2-3-1. So that is good news for fantasy managers invested in Watford, like myself. I've got Sarr. He starts in his usual position. And then some exciting news coming out of Spurs because 4 million defender Tanganga is in the team again. So I think that's 3 starts in a row if you include the cup game recently. So it's Gazaniga in goal. It looks like working. I mean, he might even be at left back, but we've got 4 defenders named Tanganga, Vertonghen, who can play at left back. Yeah. Alderweireld and Aurier. Winks, Lo Celso, Ali, Lamela, Son, and Mora. So, everybody that anyone's interested in is all in the team. Ericsson on the bench alongside Davinson Sanchez, Dyer, Sessegnon, and Gedson, who obviously signed this week. So, largely good news for fantasy managers, but certainly very interesting that we've got Tanganga in the team again, 4 million defender. Spurs not really keeping any clean sheets, but there's a few of those popping up now. Tanganga's one of them. Brandon Williams at United as well, another one worth thinking about. So yeah, good news for fantasy managers from the team news.
Yeah, and I think Lloris is going to be back sometime in February, so hopefully that's sooner rather than later. That might help with the clean sheets a little bit. But yeah, Tanganga looks pretty good there. I think that's really attacking lineup. There's not really a kind of defensive mid in there. I know Winks kind of plays deep, but he's more of like a kind of playmaker, I suppose. And then I guess
there's usually 2 of them. There's usually 2 holding midfielders, and it looks like, as you say, there is largely just 1. So it does look like you're right. It could be like a 4-1-4-1 of some kind. So yeah, it'd be
interesting to see how that goes. Very attacking. Son is the one that I really wanted. I just could not make it work, even if I get Robertson instead of Salah. I just was about $1 million off it. He's the one. I think he's a good differential this week. Watford away this week, Norwich at home. Then he plays Man City, but then he got Aston Villa after that. So I think if people have gone for him, that's a nice little option. I'm going to bring up goals imminent. I've been reliably informed that I can talk about this even though Joe's not here. Obviously, this is Joe's baby. It's actually pretty... I don't know if you've looked at it. It's actually pretty... There's not many players on it, basically. There's 2. So Raul Jimenez. So he's kind of had a lot of... love lost recently, but he's still getting the shots in, just maybe not scoring the goals. But fixtures coming up for Wolves are not fantastic, and obviously a lot of people who had Jimenez and not Ings have made that move. I pretty much think anyone who hasn't had Ings has had a very easy transfer to make this week. And then the other one is your man Salah. So he's due a goal according to the goals. I mean, what do you think about
That
that?
would be nice. Yeah, I mean his stats have been pretty good. What I think is most exciting about Salah is actually his creativity, because last three big chances created, and the other two, Salah and Firmino, Mane and Firmino haven't created any. So Man United's not really the game where I'm expecting him to do much, but I feel like he's the most likely of the three to do something, which is why he made the scout picks ahead of the other two this week. So yeah, very nice to see him there.
What do you think about Jimenez? Time to get rid maybe soon, or worth holding on to?
I love Jimenez. I'll just move my head, as people can see. But yeah, I don't know. Right now, I think Wolves really need some new signings. I think he's playing too much. They've got too much football to play, and then I think it's just kind of the whole team is playing too much as well, because it's a great first team, but they can't play every minute. So for me, even though the stats look kind of nice, was a bit more. There's just more to him, and his stats are a bit better. So yeah, if I didn't have Ings, I'd make that move. If I had Jimenez and I had Ings, I'd probably be using Jimenez to get to Firmino or maybe Calvert-Lewin. I just think that there are lots of options that are looking more dangerous than him for cheaper price. So at this time when we're all trying to save our money up to splash out on Liverpool players, then I think he's a good way of just shaving off a bit of cash and using it for them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of not necessarily make or break, but I think this week will play a big part in whether current owners get rid of him or not. I think if it's a blank against Day, then can see wholesale changes there. I should say, just bring my team back up. So I actually, before I came on, I forgot that I actually made a change, which I didn't talk about, which is now locked in because the deadline's gone. But I actually changed my captain from Vardy to Danny Ings. So my captain is going to be
wow.
Ings. Yeah, I don't
brave.
I don't know. Is it brave? The man that scored 10 goals in 11 games. I know Wolves don't concede that many, but if Southampton are going to score, which I think they can,
it's because it's Wolves. Yeah,
if they can score, which I think they can, then Ings is more likely to be involved than not. And if he can nick a second attack and return, that's almost certainly the 3 bonus points locked in. Because as we've just said, Southampton's defence has been pretty good, so we're not expecting them to concede that many. And once Ings gets on the score sheet, he's pretty damn good for bonus. That's my thinking. I know Vardy, Vardy's looked good. He's still getting the shots off. Burnley have been poor. I know he's a good captain choice. De Bruyne, I was kind of a little bit put off because I'm just not sure they're going to roll Crystal Palace over. And the difference between, I know I've just said that I'm not expecting Wolves to concede that many, but I think the difference is if Southampton score, I expect Ings to be involved. If Man City score, they've got so many players that it could be. Of course, De Bruyne will probably be involved with 1 or 2. But I don't know. I just think Mahrez can be involved, Aguero, whoever it might be. Sterling, I'm expecting to play as well. And I was never going to captain Morpay. It was bad enough bringing him in. So I've gone for Danny Ings as captain. So we'll see what happens. I mean, 10 goals in 11 games. I don't think that's really a risky or that brave a pick, to be honest. But it's just the Wolves situation. So we'll see what happens there. So I want to talk about that. And then lastly, we'll just finish off on looking at the season ticker. So I've got the season ticker for kind of the next 5 games or 5 fixtures. Starting from game week 24, obviously we're all bringing in Liverpool players. They're top of the pile, as we all know. But is there anyone that's kind of, because I'm looking at it, and this is kind of what's been my thinking with really concentrating on Liverpool and other players that I've brought in. There's not really any exciting players that I'm kind of looking at with the teams that have got good fixtures, like Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Brighton. I've got more paying. Aston Villa, I suppose, if you're a greedy showing it looks good, but most of the big teams, the fixtures coming up are not great. So with the players we've already got are probably the ones we're going to keep. I'm not sure who we're looking to really bring in. Any thoughts about season ticker on the next kind of 4 or 5 fixtures?
Yeah, no, it's every now and then we get these patches in the season where the teams near the top of the ticker you don't really trust, and I hate that. It's just so annoying when it happens because. Yeah, I mean, so if you go next 8, then Southampton go up to second, but I think Ings and 1 defender is probably enough. Sheffield United kind of creep up a little bit, but again, they're not particularly busy in front of goal. So I think 1 defender, Lundstrom obviously, or maybe a double up on him and Henderson. That's what I have at the moment. Newcastle kind of creeping up, Brighton as well. Yeah, like you say, Mope looks like quite good on the season ticker, but actually has been quite, hasn't done a great deal. So no, I don't really have any specific plans beyond double game week 24 because I'm kind of we can get some players who have form and fixtures and really become quite obvious, which is another reason why I don't really want to play my wild card yet. This doesn't really feel like the time to do it, or even in the near future. Maybe a few weeks after double game week 24, but I think I'd rather just hold off and wait till we know more about the doubles and the blanks. So yeah, it's a little bit bleak looking at the season ticker right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. I've thought about using the wildcard just because my rank's so bad. Just is there anything I can do to kind of fix it? But when I look at who I'm taking out and who I'm bringing in, it's just no one really that I want. I don't. Sun would probably be the only one, but I don't think a wildcard to completely gut my team to get one man in is probably the right play. So I'm kind of the same. I'm kind of at this point. I think with the rank so bad, I'm kind of seeing what happens with the triple captainship and Liverpool, and just seeing where the rank lies after that. Because I think obviously when you're on like Fantasy Football Scout and on Twitter and stuff, it feels like every man and their dog is going to play that triple captain. And obviously, you know, Liverpool players will be massively captain. Not everyone has their triple captainship. If you go Firmino and Salah and Mane don't do that well, that could be a huge rank rise. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. I think it's such a big pivotal part of the season up to this point. Just going to wait there and then see what happens going forward. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Team sheets all done. Team news lineups. We won't be back for Game Week 24 Breakfast Club because it's a midweek deadline. But we'll be back for the following one, I think. I can't remember when the dates lie. But we'll have normal Scoutcast and stuff on Monday. And a captaincy video, I think, on Monday as well. So plenty of content to come. So if you enjoyed this Breakfast Club, make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you're new around here. And we will catch you next time. Thanks very much, David.
Cheers, thanks, Andy, and good luck for the game week.
Cheers. See you later all.